Hello, everybody. This is Elder Michael Lott Sr. I'm from Cornerstone Community Outreach Ministries. And tonight I want to talk to you a little bit about grace. What is grace? Grace, by definition, is a favor rendered by one who need not do so. It's an indulgence. When we're talking about God and His grace, we often say that His grace is His unmerited favor toward men. In this and in the dictionary definition, we find three things that we must understand about grace. The first thing is that it's a favor. God did us a favor. It's an act that is freely granted. God's grace isn't something that is earned or paid for by us. It's freely given. Oftentimes, we fall into the trap of trying to earn God's grace through works such as giving to the poor or feeding the hungry or something else that is work oriented. However, that has no merit to how God's grace is given. It's an act of God given freely. The second thing that we glean from this is that God did not nor does not have to give us grace. Humanity has been running the cycle of sin since the fall of man in the Garden of Eden. However, like any creator, God loved his creation so much that he freely gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes on him should not perish, but have everlasting life. That is grace. God could have left us stuck in sin on a slow and at times quick slide to hell. But because he loved us, he made a way for us to be reconciled back to him. He made a way for us to overcome the sin deficit in our lives. He made a way for us to be holy and righteous. He didn't have to, but he did. Why? Because he loved us. The third thing that we glean from this is that God isn't the only one that can give grace. We too, as God's creation, can extend grace to our fellow man. Especially as the children of God, we are to reflect God's nature. We are to do things for each other, not expecting anything in return, but just out of the kindness of our hearts. We pray for others not to be seen, but out of compassion. We give to the poor without the camera of social media present. We clean the church when nobody knows that we're out there cleaning. We speak a word of encouragement to somebody that's having a rough day. We do these acts and more, not looking for anything in return, but because we are the children of God and we are to reflect God's glory. Before I wrap up this video, I want to talk about the Apostle Paul a little bit. We read in 2 Corinthians chapter 12, where Paul is writing to the church of Corinth, and he starts to explain that he has this thorn in his flesh. He termed it a messenger of Satan sent to buffet him. He sought the Lord 3 times to have this thorn removed, and God's response was incredible. God's response to Paul was, "My grace is sufficient for thee." In other words, he said, "My grace is enough for you." In the condition that he was in, God's grace was enough for him to overcome the situation that he found himself in. God's grace was enough to make him an overcomer. God's grace was enough to make him more than a conqueror. I want to encourage you today to hold on to God's grace. It is enough for you to overcome any and everything that you're going through. Greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. No matter what you find yourself facing, whether it's financial difficulty, whether it's marital difficulty, whether it's difficulty on your job, whether it's difficulty with your children, whether it's even difficulty in the house of God, whether it's health issues, physically or mentally, whether it's low self-esteem or depression, whether it's addiction. God's grace is enough for you to overcome it. Why? Because Jesus is living inside of you, and greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. So I pray that you were encouraged by this video. I hope that you heed to these words and grab a hold to God's grace, because it is truly enough. God bless you.